Have you ever wondered, why don't I have any friends? Why can't I stay in a relationship? Why doesn't anyone like me? If this sounds like you, then you may be in need of some assistance. Odds are that you suffer from what is known as being socially challenged. Fortunately enough, you are not alone. Many people struggle to maintain positive social interactions. Some people simply have a hard time talking to strangers, while others seem to always say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Somebody would get a picture of you, and then it would be posted all around, and it'll happen in your office.
Yeah, possibly.
You don't think so?
Well, it depends,
Dina, I've got some time and a camera. Why don't you stop by? No. Okay, do you think...
It's okay, people make mistakes sometimes and say things they probably shouldn't have. Oftentimes something will sound a lot better in your head than it does after you've said it. In order to help people like you, a lady named Judy Burgoon began developing in the late 1970s what is known today as expectancy violations theory. She proposed that one's behavior can be perceived either positively or negatively based on a spectrum of what's expected. Acting too far from this expected behavior can cause distraction from the originally intended message and trigger an exaggerated response based on how the message was received. Burgoon pays special attention to proximity, or how close or far someone stands when they communicate with someone. Standing either too close or too far can trigger exaggerated responses. One way for you to reduce your awkwardness and adapt socially is to think about how others may be expecting you to act. Recognize the risk of your behavior. Now that you can get along with people, let's get you ready for a real relationship. Around the same time that Judy Burgoon was working on her theory, two psychologists were working on another theory in order to help you. That's right, you. These two psychologists, Altman and Taylor, named their theory the social penetration theory. They state that people involved in relationships disclose personal information, thoughts, and feelings in a gradual and orderly process. Otherwise, one of the partners may feel as if things are moving just a bit too fast. So you should probably wait to tell her about that growth on your inner thigh. Altman and Taylor compare the progression of a relationship to an onion.
Girls are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres.
Much like onions, relationships stink, make you cry, and sprout little white hairs. But more importantly, they have layers. As you and your partner get to know each other, you will both begin disclosing more information and feelings, and thus peeling off more layers. Altman and Taylor suggest that this process starts out moving rapidly and eventually slows down to the point of a relational plateau. This is where both parties disclose everything and begin to predict the emotional patterns of one another. Make sure you don't get carried away and tell her too much too soon. Altman and Taylor also state that the relationship only flourishes if the benefits outweigh the costs. They offer this equation to explain it. Pretty neat, huh? Now that you know how to utilize these two theories, you'll know how to get along well with others and master your interpersonal relationships. Your awkward ways may not change overnight, so make sure to practice. So just remember, recognize the risk of your behavior. Don't share too much too soon, and practice. Now go out there and make some friends.